What's happening, everybody? Welcome to our very first vlog. Man, I was telling you in another video that I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I just wanted to take you on into some days of my life and show you what I do at 3.5 years into recovery, almost 4 actually, because we're in October and I celebrate 4 years in February 18th actually. And so I've been thinking about it. I really dig vlogs, and I think it would be cool to just bring you into my life a little bit more and show you what things look like for me at this point in recovery. So today's just a simple day off for me. I work full time, and my days are typically broken up into 2 different separate days. I rarely get 2 days off in a row. So today is my only day that I'm gonna have, and then I actually work 6 days in a row, which is not gonna be that fun. But so this is the day that I have, and let me readjust my camera here. So we're just gonna have a simple day off today. It is an absolutely beautiful day in Chicago, and I'm looking to see if there's a way of turning my camera around. There isn't, but I was gonna show you how pretty it is out right now. Just flip it around this way. So we're in an Indian summer right now, and I love it. It's kind of been this way the past few years that I remember, actually, where, it's the beginning of October and we're going to be in the 80s today, which is so nice. And I think you can see the water's really still today. So that's awesome. And our street is super, super chill right now. And so it's going to be a good day. We're going to be doing some peanutting today. Let's see if we can get her too. Hey, Peony. Hi, Peanut. You want to stay home? Her nose is so dry. You guys should see this funny. Look at this funny. Oh, what did you do? You hit your baby. Look at this funny thing that my sister gave me for my birthday. We call it Baby Peanut. Who is that? That's Baby Peanut? Show him Baby Peanut. It's this funny little statue of a bully that looks like Peanut. He doesn't want to see it. So when I opened it up, I was laughing so hard when my sister gave me that. So we're just gonna have a chill day. We're gonna go for a walk with Peanut, grab some tea at the little cafe by our house, probably walk down to the lake. And then today we're gonna take it easy. I did all my housework yesterday, so I worked last night. I work nights, so I work from, my shift starts at 2:30, and then I usually leave between 10:30 and 11. But so I did my housework yesterday. And so I'm hoping to be able to chill a little bit more today. I'm super tired, so I'm looking forward to hopefully taking a little tiny nap or something like that. But as we're doing these vlogs, and I'm gonna sit down for this part of it. As we're doing these vlogs, I want to take the chance, to be able to just kind of share some little things with you, because for sure, I want to, be able to show you some aspects of my life and just what things look like in recovery. But I want to continue our, where we talk about different things in our other videos. We get into different topics. We get into different aspects of wrapping our minds around addiction, recovery, what that looks like. We're in this really cool series right now too about trauma and addiction. And so I want to take the chance to be able to continue doing that with you guys. So it's probably just going to be a, off the cuff, we're just gonna, as I'm going through my day and thinking about different aspects of things, I'll probably just, share it without any sort of plan. Like, I go into my other videos. Sorry, I'm like holding my phone right now. My arm's getting tired. There we go. I propped it up on my leg. I go into my other videos with a general, kind of plan. And as you can see with the different kind of like series things that we get into here on this channel, there's a consecutive unfolding with a lot of things, but I want to, with these vlogs, to kind of not only like bring you into my life and different aspects of my life while in recovery, but I want to continue to like talk about things and have it be more of like a free form, improvisational sort of thing that we do when we still talk about these things. So I think I want to start just like something that's been on my mind lately is like rebuilding our family and our relationships when we're in recovery and what that looks like. And because I don't know about you guys, but for me, my kratom addiction caused a lot of damage to my relationships. Because as we've talked before in a lot of these videos, and then I've talked one-on-one with you guys, we've never made a video specifically about it, but the kratom has this really weird way, all addictions have this really weird way of it, like, how do we articulate it right now? And like I said, I'm super tired. I worked late last night. I'm up early this morning to do some quality peanutting. So if I'm a little rambly, I apologize, but that's how I get when I'm tired. You're probably gonna see that in these vlogs. And I don't drink caffeine, as you might have known on this channel. So like, okay, when we're in kratom addiction or any addiction for that matter, it's like the irritability. And I think what happens too is that like, our addiction and the substance itself becomes our main focus. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, like my moods and my connection with others was dictated on like where I was at in my high, basically, where like I would dose and I would feel good for, 40 minutes, an hour sometimes if I was lucky. When I first started taking kratom, I had a little bit more time. I felt like the effects of it lasted a little bit longer. But as I got into my addiction, like I felt like I was like chasing these like half an hour highs basically. And I've referred to it before as like jumping from like island to island, and like in between it was just this raging sea. And those little islands were those like 30 minutes of that high. And so then afterwards, I would just be in that raging sea of like the withdrawals and the irritability and like the full-blown anger and rage that I hear so many of us talk about. And why would this not affect our relationships? My marriage, my relationship with my son, my relationship with my family, which I don't live near any of my family. I'm in Chicago. All of my family's on the East Coast. But still, like through our interactions, whether it be, by phone or whatever, like it caused a lot of damage to my relationships to be in this state of mind. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life before my kratom addiction, and then when I was in my kratom addiction, where I had lost my dad and my dad's mom, my grandmom, and then another close family member, like within the year and a half of starting kratom. And then I have a lot of other addicts in my family and who were not healthy at the time. So there was just like this perfect storm in, the family aspect of my relationships where there was just a lot of damage. Some not completely caused by me, but it didn't make it any better that when I was in my addiction, I just had, no patience, no understanding, no empathy really. So things really took a hit. In my marriage, my husband and I struggled so much. We're really like, he's the most easygoing, like down to earth dude. And I'm so thankful for that aspect of him. And we really like, when I'm sober, like we don't fight. Like we have nothing to fight about. And he had a hard upbringing too, a hard childhood like I did. And his story is just so beautiful, like how he has overcome different, aspects of adversity in his life. But like, we've created this sanctuary basically in this part of our life, not only in our relationship, but in our home, in our professional lives. Like, this is the life that we've always dreamed of when we were kids, because both him and I had it really hard when we were growing up. So we've worked really hard for that, and we work really hard for it now. And when I was in my kratom addiction, excuse me, it was so brutal, you guys, because like, dude, like I was just such a loose cannon. Like when I would take the kratom, like I would be fine for, like I said, like half an hour. And then when I would come off of those doses, like I was so volatile, because like it was like this, and I heard it come from you guys too, where like it was just like this like rage, and it was backed by like the grief of like losing my dad and my grandmother, and then like I had another close family member too. Things were falling apart. So like I think that I would already be irritable and like angry if everything was perfect in my life, but because this other stuff was going behind it, like it was just awful. And my husband and I fought so much, and he doesn't really like fight with me. And that's one of the great things about him too. But it was just me, like, being in these horrible states of mind. So that just kind of paints a little bit of a picture of like how bad things got. And in these vlogs, like I said, like I want to focus on like different things that I've been doing in these almost 4 years at this point of recovery, like not only like rebuilding myself and my life, but my relationships. And there is something so beautiful, you guys, about getting sober and like coming back into our authentic selves, because when we do that, we're able to show up authentically in our relationships. And for a lot of our relationships, they've missed us. Our spouses, our partners, whatever it is, in that realm of things, they've missed us. Our kids miss us, and our friends miss us. And so when we can come back and authentically show up, it is just like the raddest thing. So yeah, that's just a little pondering this morning as we get started on our day. And, we're going to go through that. And, maybe it's so that things aren't too discombobulated as we do these vlogs. Maybe, we'll keep one general focus of these kind of ramblings that we're going to go on, because I don't want to have, way too many different topics in one single day. So that's what we'll do. And I'm just, you guys, I'm winging it. I haven't even edited a movie in, gosh, I don't even know. Like I edited some music videos that I made on this channel a while ago, probably like a year ago, but I haven't even opened up my iMovie little editing thing in so long. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so that's what the focus will be today, is like relationships and rebuilding relationships. And I'm going to ponder on like different aspects of like coming from my kratom addiction and now being in this part of my recovery and what it looks like now. So one of the things that I want to do too as well, which we're going to get into at the end of the video, is I have been hearing from you guys the whole time that I've had this channel about the aging effects of kratom on your skin, and hair is a whole other realm. And I actually did a live stream going into my like hair care routine and how I grew my hair back after losing half of it or more from kratom addiction. So you can check that out. It's kratom and hair loss. It's a live stream video here, and I'll probably in a vlog at some point when I do like my hair care routine, which we're not doing today, probably go into that more. But today I really want to get into skincare that has worked for me, because a lot of you guys have asked about this, and I actually heard from one of you recently about wanting to know, you know, what the deal was with this. So I'm going to share about that in the end of this video, where I'm actually going to walk you through my skincare routine as I do it. My skin has changed dramatically since I quit kratom. And we'll get into it more at the end, but just like a, you know, general dealio of things that like I started off with, like when I was in my addiction, my skin was so dry, like I could not keep it moisturized. And now I'm at this point about a year ago, actually, and I think it's just one of the joys of getting older, partly, where my skin is breaking out again. Y'all, I haven't had a zit in like, I don't even freaking know, man, like years. Yeah, I would get like a little one here and there, but like, and it's not like full breakouts, but I'm getting like more, I don't think you can see it as much. I'm getting little zits here, and I think it's like hormonal or something, you know, just the joys of getting older or something like that. I don't know. But so my skin has changed a lot, but I'm going to go over my skincare routine now, and I'm going to talk about what I used to get to the point that I'm at with healing my skin from kratom addiction. I'm 40, you know, like my skin isn't gonna be perfect. I got my little, you know, whatever you call those lines. I got my smile lines. So like I got my little things going on right here, but like my skin has drastically improved, even though I have a couple zits now. So, okay, this little intro is getting kind of long. So I'm gonna get started with our day, and we're gonna walk to a cafe by my place that I love. And we're gonna get a cup of chamomile tea and probably go to the lake, and then chill for a little while, and then do our skin routine later. So, all right, here we go. Bye. Hey, good morning. Can I get a large chamomile iced and a scoop of the vanilla ice cream to go, and a puppuccino, and that's it?
The scoop, did you want that in a cone or a cup?
A cup, please, with a lid on it.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Can I get a name for the one?
It's Becca.
It's going to come out to $9.14.
Awesome.
You can separate it here. Or
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got peanuts, puppuccino. You want your puppuccino, Beanie? Don't drop it on the floor, Peenie. You can drop it. Here you go. There you go, Peenie. Get on the floor. Get on the floor, Peenie. Get this one. Get that one. This is the cutest little cafe by my house. It's changed ownership over the years. And I really like this setup that they have. They like sell plants, and they have this really cute, I'll show you, this really cute like patio area. That's been around for, gosh, I was here when my son was young. We used to live over maybe a block from here for a couple years, and it's been here for a long, long time, but it's so cute. And there's like a couple taverns over there, and yeah, so this is like right by where we live. Come on, we gotta go get the rest of our stuff. We gotta get our ice cream. Yeah, we love this place. Waiting for my tea, and then we'll go down to the water for a minute. Look how pretty this stuff is. Gosh, do you guys love this time of year? I love this time of year. It's so pretty. You guys, I wanted to show you this. This is a trip. I mean, it's not a surprise, but as you know, it's everywhere. It is everywhere. And I don't know about for you guys, but I don't know, maybe it's because I'm actually paying attention now, but I don't know, it seems like it's like more so everywhere. Peanut's so funny. She loves watching the train go by. We're at where the train track is, and she's like sitting here waiting. Are you over it? You want to keep walking? She wants to keep walking. Yeah, but she'll like sit and like wait for the train to go by. So funny. So we have a lot of cool art here in Chicago. This is an older mural that's been here for a long time, and they're just like the coolest murals all over that I look forward to hopefully kind of catching in some of these videos. Here's another cool one. This one has a spot in my heart. It has a cafe that I worked at for a really long time, actually, where my husband and I met. That was the hippie cafe that I talk about in a lot of my videos, and it's closed now, and I think it's kind of fitting because the name of this mural is Seasons in Time, and that was definitely a season of time in my life, and it was a big part of my life for a long time. And I love the people that became my family from that cafe. Oh, there's a train, Peanut. Where is it? Where's the train? She wants to, there it goes. There it goes. Where'd it go, Peanut? Yeah, that cafe isn't there anymore. It was sold to new owners, and then the new owners kept it as a restaurant for a little bit, and then they ended up actually selling the building and the property that it was on, and now there's unfortunately just a condo building that's being built there. But as the mural said, it was a season in time, and it was such a big part of my life for so long, and it was good for it to kind of be laid to rest. But I still look back on that time fondly, and was able to actually, this past summer, I hadn't seen some of the people that I love so much in a while. Like in my addiction, like I just kind of hid away, a lot of hid away. And I was so ashamed to see anybody. Like I was like barely 100 pounds, probably like 90 pounds at most. And I looked gross. I looked like a crackhead or a meth head or something. And just didn't want to see anybody. And these people have always meant so much to me. And I spent I was at that cafe for almost 10 years. And especially like during such a, like, you know, like, I don't know about for you guys, but like for me at least, my 20s, like it was such an important time of my life where I grew so much as a person. That's actually where I got sober from alcohol, was working at that cafe. And I actually made a video telling the story about me quitting drinking 14 years ago, and I didn't really like how it turned out, so I ended up deleting it. And maybe I'll go into it at some point, because that's a big part of my story too. Like I hit 14 years of no drinking in June of this past year, and there was a big part of that was because of working at this place and being around some of the people that I was around. Like it was owned by two people, a guy and a gal. They're like old school Rogers Park, which is the neighborhood that I live in, just old school Rogers Park people. And kind of not like cookie cutter hippie, because urban hippies I've found are a lot different than like Grateful Dead tour hippies. This is getting into just like a side ramble, and a lot of you probably will have no idea what I'm talking about. But having grown up in the Grateful Dead scene and in the like traveling, following like hippie band scene, there's just like a certain type of hippie that's in that scene. And moving to Chicago and just ending up in this community, in this neighborhood, I learned about like just different types of people, and it has its own like breed of hippie here, and that's how the owners were of this cafe. And the gal who was part owner of it, she was a huge part of me getting sober, and it's a really cool story that I look forward to telling at some point. But it was just a really pivotal time of my life, and I'll get into it more somewhere, maybe more in these vlogs or something. You can see Peanut peeing. All right, we'll see you at the lake. So they filled in the beaches near my house with these like boulder things because there was too much erosion going on. But we still like to kind of have like a fun activity of like rock climbing down to the water's edge. And I decided to do that instead of going to the beach that we normally go to. So I'll see you when we're done rock climbing and we're down by the water. Show them how you do it, Beanie. Good girl. She actually really enjoys it. I wonder if I can keep filming while I'm doing this. I'm just gonna take it. You guys can see our adventure. Where do you go? Yeah, it's like a fun adventure for her. Actually, I'm gonna pause this for a second until we get down there. We made it. So I wanted to pick up with what we were talking about before with relationships, and I wanted to share some different things that I did to start to and then to get to where I'm at in rebuilding my relationships now. Because there was a really big disconnect for a while. When we were walking, I was sharing how I disconnected from a lot of my friends around here, and I also, like I told you, was having those challenges with my family as well, and with my marriage. And I went through my quit, and that took pretty much all of my focus to get through that. And as the fog started lifting and the pause started to wane, because as you know, if you're in either the quitting or the first year of recovery, you know the deal with that. And if you don't know the deal with that, if you're somebody who is lucky enough to not have experienced pause, then I'm so stoked for you, because a lot of us don't have that. But if you know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. It's being so funny. That's why I zoomed in on her. I don't know if you guys have ever seen her swim. She's so weird and funny. Looks like a little sea otter or a seal or something. So as the pause started to wane for me, and it was the fog lifted, and I was able to actually focus on other things other than just barely getting through each day, I started to know that it was going to be necessary for me to put in the work of rebuilding these relationships. And the way that I started that is I started to slowly kind of reach out to the people that meant the most to me, that I had disconnected from, or that there had been either conflict or whatever, and either through text or through letter, I contacted those people and just shared my heart with them. And I didn't let them know that I, had a kratom addiction that I got over, because a lot of people still don't even know what kratom is. But I just let them know that I, had gone through a hard time. I told you that I had lost my dad and my grandmother and my other close family member, and I let them know that I had a hard time processing that. And I just shared my heart with them, and I took accountability for what I did, and I said that I recognized what I had done, and I apologized for it. And that was the first step for me. From some of them, I didn't hear back from them for a while. From some, I heard back right away. And so that began the slow process of rebuilding. Out of my parental unit, because my parents got divorced and both of them got remarried. My stepmom, who my dad remarried, always meant a lot to me, and she was one of the ones that I disconnected from. And I contacted her and started to slowly rebuild, and then we actually planned a trip together to go to the beach that was one of my favorite places, that is one of my favorite places in the world, close to where I grew up in Delaware on the East Coast. And so we took this trip last summer, and it was so amazing. We spent 2 weeks together and just caught up and made up for lost time. And I shared with her about my kratom addiction. And there's a lot of addiction in my family. My dad struggled with addiction. My sister struggles with addiction. And so even though she didn't know what kratom was, I kind of explained it, and she was able to kind of put 2 and 2 together. And she was also able to see who I was at that point. And so it gave us the chance to reconnect. Are you all done? You want to go back home? And so that was, okay, you coming? Okay. Okay. Okay, you ready to go home? Come on, let's go home. So that was like the first part of reconnecting for me, was reaching out and taking accountability. Because I don't know about for you guys, but for me, like, I am not down with people acting like everything is fine and acting like nothing happened when something happened. And I knew that I did not want to do that in reconnecting with the people that I, either had conflict with or that I had disconnected from. So I just, went to people openly and honestly, and I put it in writing. That's something I would recommend doing too, because a lot of times, when we either sit face to face or we talk to people, there's a lot of room for things to come out wrong or to be misinterpreted, or, the emotions to take over or whatever. And so I recommend doing, come here, Peony. Come here. I recommend doing it in writing, either through text or through, even doing it the old school way and actually putting a pen to paper and writing a letter. And we have to, as well, when we're in this space, we have to accept how other people feel too. Let me grab my cup from my tea. We have to respect other people's feelings and the fact that they may need time or they may need more space. And although we may be ready to reconnect and we may be ready to, try to have a relationship, they may not be ready. And so that was something that was, it was hard for me, because some of the people that I tried to reconnect with weren't ready to reconnect with me. And then there's also the aspect of that, I think we talked about this in the boundaries video in our kratom addiction and trauma series, that like some relationships are not meant to be. And it can be a bummer when we want a relationship, but it is not meant to be. And that can be the case too, that, we want to reconnect with somebody. We want somebody in our life, but, oh, this is cute. Be yourself, cute. But they may not want us in their lives, and the relationship may not be meant for us or for them. So that's something that can be kind of hard about when we're ready to reconnect with people. So, but that's the first step of things for me, and what I'd recommend for you guys as well, if you find yourselves in that place, is showing up authentically and taking accountability for the things that we've done and apologizing, and then in turn respecting wherever the other person is with things, and respecting the time that it may need for things to be rebuilt, or to come to the acceptance that we may need to let go of that relationship. So, okay, cool. We're gonna head back home now, and I'll see you there. I gotta show you this epic garden. I love this garden so much. This guy who lives here and who takes care of it and puts so much love into it, he knows what he's doing. And it's always so gorgeous. Each season too, he like changes it from season to season, and it's just so beautiful. What am I doing? What am I doing to you? What am I doing to you? You got an itch? We're home, getting a little bit of sunshine. I've said it before in some of my videos, it's so good to get some vitamin D, especially if you're in your recovery process, you know, completely scorching yourself, baking yourself like the grandmother in Something About Mary isn't what we're going for here, but just a little bit of sun is so good. Keeping sunscreen on our faces is a good idea, of course, but yeah, the vitamin D, especially like this natural source of vitamin D, like we can supplement and stuff, but this natural source of vitamin D from the sun is so good when you're in recovery. Hi, Peanut. She's being so cute right now. Hi, Beanie. So I wanted to share as well, you know, we got into like a formal, oh my gosh, this dog. She was like setting her. I don't know if you can see her. You probably can't. She was setting her chin on my knee. It was so cute. Excuse me. So we got into a formal, you know, like, okay, formally going to somebody and taking accountability, saying we're sorry, that kind of thing when we're rebuilding relationships. But, excuse me again, there may be some relationships where that's not going to be appropriate. Like we may have, you know, just say friends or whatever, or people that like it would be weird for us to go to and, you know, be like, oh, I was having a hard time and I take accountability and I'm sorry. That's not always, you know, going to be the right thing to do, especially with just like acquaintances and stuff. And as I've walked you around in my neighborhood this morning, I explained a little bit about like, you know, working at the cafe, different people that meant a lot to me, that sort of thing. And I consider them family, but it's not the type of thing with these people where I can like, you know, get into all of that and like say I was going through a hard time or like whatever, you know, and doing something really formally like that. And so to be able to rebuild relationships like that, I wanted to talk about like letting our recovery speak for itself, because what happens in recovery in this messy, raw, hard, yet beautiful process of recovery is that we are like essentially like turning into new people, and our minds, our bodies, our, you know, the way that we look, like, you know, our appearance, how we can connect with people and like look at other people. Peanut, don't eat the bees. Well, oh, she got stung. She gets stung all the time, you guys. Like, I think that she's like, at first we got like super freaked out about it, but now she's like I've seen her get stung like multiple times in one day. Peanut, come here. Why are you distracting my vlog, Peony? She's fine. He just goes back to sleep. So like the way that we look at people, you know, the way that our eyes look, you know, the glow of our skin, how healthy we look, like all of that really speaks for itself. A lot of times when it comes down to like rebuilding some of these relationships that, you know, it may not be appropriate for us to like go to them and like, you know, get into all of it. The way that we communicate with other people, the way that we connect with other people, all of that is going to speak for itself. And I bring this up because I had a situation in my life recently, actually, where I had some friends that really meant a lot to me that I lost touch with. And, you know, some friends are for a season. Some friends come and go. Some friends, you know, I told you about how I had a 20-year relationship that ended for the right reasons. You know, sometimes it's for a long season that friends are in your life. Sometimes it's for a short season. But there's some people that mean a lot to us. And regardless of how deep the friendship is, those people still mean something to us. And I had that with a few people actually, and one in particular, that this kid basically grew up. It was one of the sons of the owner of this cafe that I worked at. There was the two owners, and there was the guy owner who was married and had his own family. And one of the sons I always had a really cool connection with, because when I started working there, he was probably like, I don't know, like 10. And then, like I said, I worked there for almost 20 years. So we basically like grew up together, because yeah, I was in my early 20s when I started at this cafe, but like I was still growing up in my 20s. And as you know about me, and you know about like my love for music, that was like one of the main things that me and this kid connected on. Because as the kid started to get a little older, when he started to hit like around like 13 or so, he would come to the cafe every morning, and we had like a bar in this cafe, and I would bartend at that bar every Saturday for like, I don't even know how long, like 7, 8 years or something. And this kid was also a musician. He was also a guitar player. He also writes songs. And and he always has. Just like with me, I've always been into music. I've always been into art. And my son has always, I think that this is his form of rebellion, because his father and I are both musicians. He always kind of rebelled and was like, you know, I don't want to play the guitar. I don't want to play any, you know, anything, any instruments. His thing is skateboarding. And it's been awesome because he's been very successful at it. And he started skating when he was 6. We traveled the country with him doing like skate competitions and skate videos, and him getting sponsored and being on skate teams and all this kind of stuff. So he had a really cool upbringing with that. And his father and I never pushed music on him, because we always gave him the choice, you know? And so, and, you know, skateboarding has been his thing. He's living in New York City now, living with, you know, other crusty skater kids, and they're living, you know, New York City skater dream. And I'm so proud of him, because I've always loved New York too. So I'm so stoked for him. But my son Gabriel has never been into music. And this kid that I'm talking about, he's always been like super passionate about music. So we always connected over this. And for however many years, 7, 8 years, he would come pretty much every Saturday and sit at this bar, and we would listen to, because I would be the one who would choose the music in the bar. And we would choose, you know, different stuff that we would want to listen to. We would get into like, we would go so hard with music, where like we would listen to like, you know, like old school jazz music. We went through this really hard Miles Davis phase for like years, where we would listen to like all sorts of Miles Davis and Charlie Parker and Thelonious Monk and like all this jazz music. We got into like a blues music phase, where we would listen to like the old Chicago blues. We got into world music, where we were listening to like South African music for a little while. And like, we were just always going so hard with music, and we always had this really cool connection, kind of like older sister, little brother sort of thing. And he's always had a really special place in my heart, this kid. It ended up going on, just a little tidbit of the story too. Like I always saw something very cool and very unique and very special in this kid, as far as not only his passion for music, but also his talent for music. Because like I said, he's always played guitar and written songs, and he musically had something very special. And he went to a cool high school in Chicago here that wasn't arts based, but it had a very cool arts emphasis to it. And he ended up, he had friends that he grew up with in that school, and they ended up starting a band that really caught traction. And they ended up doing really well. They were touring worldwide. They played huge, like, big name festivals like Pitchfork here in Chicago, Lollapalooza here in Chicago, like all sorts of stuff all around the country and all around the world. Played on Jimmy Fallon, was it? No, it was Conan. Played on Conan O'Brien, like all this stuff, got a lot of traction. And they ended up kind of, as what happens a lot of times with, younger guys, because they were in their teens and 20s when this was going on. They ended up going in separate directions. But this kid always had such a special spot in my heart, and I was so stoked to see him succeed at music. We played music a couple times together. And so like this kid, he's always been really, really special to me. Is he the type of person that I would go to and be like, you know what, I had a kratom addiction and I was going through a hard time, and I just want to let you know I take accountability for it. I'm sorry. No, I couldn't do that. And I completely disconnected from him and from everybody else, like I said. And he contacted me a few times when I was MIA and just was like, hey, want to let you know that I'm thinking about you. Love you and Justin. Justin's my husband. And I just, would say, hey, thinking about you too. Love you too, man. But I just, I was, like I said, I just completely went MIA. And as I started to come to, and like I said, I was taking this inventory in my life of like the relationships that had been affected by my addiction. And this kid was one of them. And I knew that I couldn't go to him and be like, oh, like I was just saying. But I knew that I wanted to like at least see him again. Because I didn't mention too that like not many people saw me around here when I was in my addiction. But he saw me because there was like a thing that his parents did over at their house, where like a get together or something, and they invited my husband and I went, and I remember like dosing with kratom before I went. I remember being so self-conscious because I was like I said, skin and bones. I looked like a meth head. And I was so self-conscious, and I know I came off weird. I know my pupils in my eyes were all pinned out and stuff, and like, not many people saw me when I was in my addiction, but this kid saw me, and that was the last time that he saw me. And I always knew that I wanted to make it right, in the sense of like, I wanted to be able to like, I didn't want that to be the last time that we saw each other for a while. So I reached out to him in the spring and just sent him a message. I always call him brother. I call a lot of people brother, but like I really mean it with him because he's always been like my little brother. But I sent him a message and I was just like, hey brother, like just want to let you know that I'm thinking about you, and I know it's been a while, and I just, want to say what's up, and, hope you're doing well. And I actually didn't hear back from him. And it did bum me out a little bit. But like I said in the last thing down at the lake, that sometimes we have to accept that, like, we're not supposed to, either the relationship isn't supposed to happen, or they're not ready, or whatever. So things went on, and the end of the summer, I played a gig actually at our arts fest. We have like a music and art fest here in our neighborhood. And my band that my husband and I have played that fest. And this kid's band, who he went on from the band that like got all big, and then he went on, like I said, to do his own thing. He has his own little like such cool fun music, like dream pop, like synth heavy kind of thing. And it's so cool because the other stuff that he was doing with his band that made it big was more like garage rock sort of thing. So his band played as well, and we got the chance to see each other, and we got the chance to catch up, and it was so cool. And so when I talk about like, our recovery speaking for itself, like my recovery spoke for itself, and I didn't need to say anything. I didn't need to say like, oh, I was on kratom and like, whatever. I just, was able to connect with him, and I was able to look into his eyes and be like, dude, like, I missed you. And we just had the chance to catch up about life, catch up about music, and got some pictures with each other and stuff. And then later that night when we parted ways, I sent him a message and I was just like, dude, it was so good to see you. And he responded and was just like, you know, Becca, I love you and Justin so much, and it makes me so happy to see you guys doing well. And so to end on that note was so cool, and I wanted to include it in this video today about, like, you know, sometimes rebuilding relationships isn't, you know, writing a formal apology note. Sometimes it is just, you know, going through our recovery process and then crossing paths with people again and allowing our recovery to speak for itself. So, and be encouraged by that, like wherever you're at in the process, like, you know, yeah, when you're in the throes of, you know, acutes, when you just quit, or you're in your pause stage and you're still hiding away from the world or just going to work and like doing whatever, you know that there's going to be a time where you see people again, and know that you'll be able to like stand tall. That's one of the most beautiful things about recovery too, is like you're able to like be confident in yourself again. And I don't mean that in a prideful way. I mean that in like a, you know, like, because we should feel good about ourselves. You know, we should, you know, not feel ashamed of who we are. And like, you know, if you know, like for you, or for me, like I looked like awful. And like I was ashamed about that. And so like, you know, to be able to feel good about like who we are and where we're at, and like allowing that beautiful aspect of recovery to speak for itself when we rebuild our relationships is awesome. So yeah, that was something I wanted to share too. So after our last clip that we had in this video, I started to wrap my mind around the whole editing process, and I realized that this vlog is very long right now. So we're gonna save the skincare stuff for its own video, because I want to go into depth about all of that with you guys. So we're gonna wrap things up right now. I actually am gonna add at the end of this video just some pictures from the time that I was talking about, where like I played this art fest in my neighborhood. I got to see some old friends. So I'm gonna put some of that in there now, just some photos for you guys to see. And I'm super stoked that we're doing this vlog thing here now. I really enjoy, like I said before the last video, I love watching vlogs. So, and I really dig being able to like bring you into my life a little bit more. Talk about things like we did in this video, like rebuilding relationships after kratom addiction, and doing it in this like free form way. I really like that. And it's super cool to share more about my life with you guys, because all you see is like me sitting down in front of a camera and, you know, talking for a half an hour or whatever. And so it's cool to be able to show you this part of my life, and for also you to see a glimpse into what kratom addiction recovery looks like for me at almost 4 years now. And there were times where like I would be watching YouTube when I was in the throes of my addiction, and I would be holed up in a room with the curtains drawn, and I was just not functioning. I was not leaving the house. And so my hope and my intention with these as well, with these vlogs, is that like hopefully you guys can see the other side of things when you take a glimpse into my life and you see what recovery can look like. I mean, this is just kind of like a simple basic day off for me. I'm not really doing anything special, but it's amazing to be able to wake up and not need kratom. It's amazing to go out into my neighborhood. It's amazing to be able to like make these videos and share with you guys about like the things that I've learned and everything that, you know, just the journey of recovery itself. I feel so honored to be sharing with you. So as we move forward on this channel, we're gonna have a lot more of these vlogs, and I'm super stoked about it. And so yeah, we'll end this here, and I'm gonna share some pictures with you about, this art fest that I played, and I got the chance to see some old friends and stuff. So I'm stoked to be able to share that with you. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.